Week of Missouri Politics midweek update from the F-150. I told you I had a special guest. Representative Jim Murphy, the most quotable man in the Republican Party. Representative, appreciate you making the time.
Well, any time for you.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have a stein of knowledge from you. Actually, I probably have a little less. I got a Lincoln Hub Solo Cup. That would be the antithesis of a stein of knowledge, I think, right?
Absolutely.
If it was opposite day, I guess. Gussie, you know about opposite day, don't you? So let me tell you where we are. Right now, we are over in St. Charles County. And in St. Charles County, we're sitting across this road from a big development. And it's the development you may have read about. It's the development we have video of a guy going up asking, how do I work here? The guy said, well, this is mostly illegals. You work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. We sleep 4 to a room over in a hotel a few miles down the road. It's the one where you saw the guy that crashed through the scaffolding. And I'll tell you what's interesting. This is not way off. We're not in West Plains. We're not way off somewhere. We're right on. Now, I call it Interstate 64, but what do you St. Louis people call
that? 40. Route 40.
Highway Fire, yeah, all that. So it's right there in St. Charles. I tell you what, if you're a Butler County, it's right by the Los Margaritas. We just had lunch. Is there better cheese dip anywhere in the world?
No, I do not believe there is.
Not Tijuana, nowhere.
And we're probably only a mile or so from Chesterfield. I mean, this is not,
right about there.
Yeah,
it was right across the bridge.
Right.
So this is an enormous development here. It's the one Representative Murphy talked about, and you made a little news this week. You make a little news frequently. We went and we was told, oh yeah, you can't. The Department of Labor does it, so I go report this. Department of Labor doesn't do anything about this, right? Well, can I see your phone? Can I see that video?
Sure.
So they said they talked to their lawyers and things, and there's nothing they can do about this, right? Nothing they can do. No way. So I actually know a lawyer. I actually know one. In fact, he's the general of all the lawyers, right? You might know him as Eric Schmidt. So I went and asked him. I was like, now, wait a minute. They say they don't do anything about this, right? So this is what we do.
They're making their way to Kansas City and St. Louis through the cartel. They're making their way to. Cameron Gerber was from the Missouri Times. Remember, we don't foul them. What happens if you're a Missourian and you see a group of folks and you think it's probably illegal immigrants? And some of these folks work 12, 14 hours a day. They're folks you'd want to come into the state and be Missourians, but not mistreated. What can someone do if they see that happening now? Report it to the Department of Labor.
I'll be damned. You report it to the Department of Labor. Who would have thought? So Representative Murphy and I was telling him the story, and he was like, yeah, this is. I mean, look, you're a Republican.
Absolutely.
But your constituents, a lot of them work a real job. They don't sit around and talk like me. They actually swing a hammer for a living.
I have a blue collar district, and they're hard workers, and they deserve to be treated properly. And
if there's laws that they have to go by and their bosses, maybe everybody ought to go by, right?
Exactly.
So we went over and filed this complaint, right, with the Department of Labor. And I mean, look, a little bit of it, you could say, well, you put peacocking a little bit. And maybe a little bit of truth to that. But at some point, you get frustrated with the normal means, and so you try to do something different. So we go and fill out a complaint. And as you can see, we're broadcasting live from the F-150 with Spider-Man Gussie in the back here. You want to give everybody a big wave, Gussie? Yeah, oh, he's put his hat. Oh, we brought him up now. He's going to show out for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to put his Spider-Man mask on. Uh-oh. Spider-Man, are you in a union? Uh-oh. If the Avengers unionized, I know a few folks, but Dave Cook could be on that. You wouldn't be able to have grass grow under it. There he is. Now, Spider-Man, you waved everybody. All right, we had Peter Parker, now we got Spider-Man. So we go fill out this complaint, right? They said to do it. And they first started to say, well, we don't tell you anything about it after the complaint, which is the only thing I've ever seen that. But then I think they got a glimpse of the pin you wear on your lapel.
I believe they did.
And I think that they realized they probably would be telling you some things about how this was going and things about how things work.
You know, she was saying we can't give you any details of an investigation. And I said, well, I understand that. I don't want names and addresses of people. But you can certainly tell me that it's progressive. You can tell me that it made it to O'Fallon. You can tell me that we are now in the process of filing a complaint. We can do some of those things. And suddenly she became very cooperative.
As was probably the way it ought to be.
Yeah.
So a few months go by. I don't hear anything. They basically said, you're just a white trash hillbilly. We don't care. But then I asked the governor. Now, I explained the situation to the governor. I said, what should a Missourian do if you're in this spot? You know what he told me? For the Department of Labor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, last I checked, when you look at the Department of Labor, you have the director, Anna Hughes' name. And then on the other side of the letterhead, you have the governor, Mike Parson.
Right.
Now, I figure they have his name on there for a reason, right?
I would think so.
Now, you would think his words would carry a little weight over there. But if that's the director's decision, and as they say on TV, bold move, Cotton, we'll see how it plays out for him. Iron Man, you're not part of this. Sit down there and play some. So I just thought I'd bring y'all here right to the spot we've been talking about. And we're going to take you, we're going to flip this camera around. I'm going to show you this development. You ain't going to believe it. This is not some small thing, somebody's kitchen. This is a major construction development that is on tape. Now, I don't know how investigations go. Obviously, I've been investigated far more times than I've investigated folks. But when you have it on tape, them saying what they're doing,
right,
like openly saying it, I think you could have done this investigation in about 20 minutes from your desk if you just Googled the story, right?
Well, the more we get into this, the more we find out that what the authority is of the Labor Department.
Yeah.
The Labor Department, in their investigation, what they're going to investigate and what they're allowed to investigate is whether or not there's compliance in our labor law. So they're going to come and they're going to find out, well, did these people pay these workers under the table? And did they collect taxes? And did they, have proper insurance and things like that? And if they didn't, they're going to fine them. But that's not going to do anything about the illegal workers that are on site. They're not going to protect them in any way because they're probably going to be gone by the time this investigation gets to the end.
So I had the most quotable man in the Republican Party on the TV show. They'll be on Sunday, right?
Right.
I want to take and show folks what the situation is. Then I want to talk about before we go. Talk about the second part about actually doing something.
Okay.
Because there's also, look, these are the kind of folks that you want to come to America.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can work 12 hours a day in skilled labor, and when you see what they've built, this is the kind of folks we hope are Missourians.
Well, and labor needs these workers. They're not opposed to them being here. They just want them to be here legally, and they want it to be done right.
Well, let me just go here. You buckle down. Here we go, folks. We're going to take you a little bit of a roll here. As you can see, we're St. Charles. I can't really see exactly what you see, but look at this. Again, I understand there's going to be a little bit of time where, you're going to have somebody, and you ain't going to check their paperwork if they come and remodel your closet or something. But we may get kicked out of here. Don't worry, folks. This won't be the first time I've been arrested. I know what to do here. Now, Representative, it might be his first. So.
I got arrested for surfing once.
Okay, we're going to have to come back to that. We're going to put a pin in there. See, this is the development here. Now, this is not just some small-time deal. Boy, I tell you, this is exactly how we get our head pumped driving through here recording this. But, this is exactly the kind of thing like this gentleman's working today. And this is not a small-time operation. You see, this is a high level of construction, high level of craftsmanship goes into this. But you can also look and see right from the story they told me right online that this is where having the F-150 comes in, folks. You can just roll right through these muscles, just like we're in Poplar Bluff. See, they got the both languages there on the door and stuff. But this is a major development. This is no small-time thing. And here's right across the road. I'm going to bet you these folks think there's labor laws that says you can't employ illegal immigrants in this country and in this state. Little does any of the people in this place know that you actually can. The state won't do a thing about it. Now, Jim, I ask you a question.
Yep.
If you were a guy following the rules right now, you'd feel a little bit like a sucker, wouldn't you? Well, we're going to pull back over here in this parking lot just so we don't get our head thumped too bad.
I think if you had to compete against those people that are doing that, you'd feel certainly like a sucker because here you're doing the job, you're doing it right, you're doing a quality job, and you're not making the money, and you're having to pay workers what they're worth, and these guys are just paying people under the table, and it's unfair to the workers that are there too because they're being paid under the table for a long day's work that way less than what our standards would be. If you pay a guy $100 under the table for working a 12-hour day, that's slave labor. That isn't what America's about.
And if Joe Biden wins the second term, that'll be under slave labor.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you might as well pay him in pesos. Keep going. Where things are going now. But anyhow, no, it's a legit thing, and I get it. I'm not saying that there's the two things. One, from the beginning of this, after I talked to the Department of Labor a little bit, they have a really nice legislative liaison who's a good dude. Yep. I was keyed up to be a little bit more cantankerous until he was just such a nice guy. But they don't have the laws to do much. No. They probably don't. Like Schmidt said, I don't have the manpower to investigate misdemeanors.
Absolutely.
And I get that. And maybe these shouldn't be. That's not really my job. But there's some legal framework, but there's also a second part of this. These are good folks that are working here. If you're working 12 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 6 days, 7 days a week to feed your family, I respect that. This ain't work like I sit around, dude, sit on my brains all day talking. This is actually real work, an honest day's work. And they want to do well. There's got to be some way. When you see a help wanted sign, it's the greatest problem. You have a supply and demand problem, except you have the supply and demand sitting right there. You just got to find a way to connect them.
Yeah, and part of the problem is we say, is this a sanctuary city? Is this a sanctuary state? We've almost become a sanctuary country. The states have always relied upon the federal government to enforce the immigration laws. If they found an illegal worker, they would deport them back to where they came from. When the federal government, and I can't tell you exactly when this happened, but it's certainly gotten worse over the years. Mm-hmm. Now they don't enforce the laws, and we've never had the infrastructure to enforce those laws because they weren't ours. They were the federal government. So now it's on the states, and some states have just simply thrown up their hands and said, we're going to accept these people. We're going to let them do everything like they're legal. I don't think Missourians are really at that point, but there are certainly ways that we can bring these people in and do something to legalize them, get labor on board. Let's get them into the workforce in the proper way. Let's make them show up to where they
We want to know what we're doing here. So before we get hauled out, we're gonna probably sign off. You can watch it on This Week in Missouri Politics on Sunday morning at 9:00 in St. Louis, 10:30 over in Central Missouri, over in Kansas City. Right. We better sign off before we get hauled out. Gussie needs bail money. I need bail money. It won't be my first time. That's why me. I carry cash. I will see y'all Sunday on TV with Senator Paul Whelan and an opinion banker panel, including Representative Murphy. Thank y'all.